The thoroughbred is a magnificent animal, bred for speed, bred to compete, the sport of kings.
Tama is drawing away, and Tama with Mike Smith, they win the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby.
It's the all-new Let's Go Racing from Parks Casino and Racetrack. It's action-packed and fun for the entire family.
Il Miracolo now in command.
Let's Go Racing is proudly brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. It's fun to see them run.
Welcome to Let's Go Racing on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Danny Gibson joined by Dick Girardi. We are in our Parks Racing studio. Great show for you today. 3-year-olds are on the Kentucky Derby Trail, and Parks contenders go up to Aqueduct in the Withers. Some exciting maiden races here at Parks, and meet a young aspiring trainer that might follow in his parents' footsteps. All these stories and more on today's show. We have an awesome show for you today, but all the talk is about these 3-year-olds that are on that Kentucky Derby Trail.
Yeah, look, we set it up last week, Danny. There were 4 big 3-year-old Kentucky Derby preps, but the most interesting one for us was the one in New York, the Wither Stakes, because 2 Parks horses were up there. Uncle Heavy, who was let to go at 9-1. Were they not watching these races down here? And Deposition with our man Uriah St. Louis. Yes, of course he was 71-1, but they generally outrun their odds.
No, when Parks goes up to Aqueduct, they make some noise. Let's take a closer look at the race we're talking about. It's the Grade 3 Wither Stakes. 3-year-olds going that 1 1/8. They're stretching out. $250,000 now. Lightline. Sounds like Flightline was in the race.
Very ambitiously named. Now, his maiden win at Indiana this summer was super impressive. I actually bet him back at Keeneland off that race. Hasn't come back to that, but it's Brad Cox. So people are thinking this is a good horse, and he's by City of Light, so he might be a good horse.
Yeah, and it's not a New York race if Linda Rice isn't in it. El Grande O and Kendrick Carmouche are second choice.
Yeah, El Grande O has speed, and early on in the race that day, Speed was winning. Uncle Heavy is much more of a dead closer. Could he overcome the situation, the racetrack, all of it, and get a graded stakes?
Oh, it's going to be exciting. One of our co-hosts, Chris Griffin, is our track announcer up there. Here's his call to Grade 3 Withers.
Here comes Uncle Heavy is about to take third. Deposition is all in. Lightline is trying to make a move. Mission Beach is towards the back end. Society Man. And the trailer is Speedrunner. Connate has the lead, and El Grande O is still trying to get back in front. Uncle Heavy is all in, is not cutting into the margin. Lightline is starting a rally here for Manny Franco. Is going to be a touch wide, but the front 2 have not come back to the field, and El Grande O is back in front. It's El Grande O who kicks away. Connate continues to chase. Uncle Heavy is trying to commence a rally, is making hard work of it. Lightline and Deposition on the grandstand side, but El Grande O is still there. El Grande O, here comes a run from Uncle Heavy, and Uncle Heavy in between horses. Deposition on the far outside. Lightline right there. El Grande O needs the wire. Uncle Heavy late. It's a photo finish.
Oh, Uncle Heavy with the head bob. That was a really exciting race, and you got to give credit to even Deposition. He ran a good 4th.
He really did at 71-1. Look, the whole way it did not look like Uncle Heavy was going to get there. It just looked like horse in front had too big a lead, but he just kept coming, Danny. And then when you watch the gallop out, he was way in front. This horse wants a distance of ground. Butch Reed has always said that about him. And it's so cool because we talked about last week, named after Mark Reed. Uncle Heavy, he was the 1972 ACC heavyweight wrestling champion at the University of Maryland. Of course, been around horses forever. Trained the mare. It's a really cool backstory with this horse. I wrote about it this week on Let'sGoRacingParks.com.
Yeah, and I got to catch up with the owner, Michael Milam, on the phone. Here's more with our conversation. Big win in the Wither Stakes. First of all, congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very much, Danny. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it. He's kind of surprised me, but then doesn't surprise me. I thought, yeah, we have a chance, and, turn for home. I said, well, I'm going to be at least third, so it's not a total deal. And then he came on and surprised us. But, yeah, I was thinking it was a possibility, but when it happens, it's almost surreal.
I know you guys are going to take it race by race, but you have to be Kentucky Derby dreaming a little bit, right?
Yes. I would like to say no, but only because, I've gotten several texts and emails from all kinds of people showing me about the 20 points that he earned. And look, there's a lot of nice horses around the country, and there's a lot of different ways to go there, and they're all going different ways. But I feel, blessed blessed and sort of humbled to even be part of that conversation.
We're also going to have more on this later in the show with our very own Chris Griffin, because he did call the race.
Yes, he
so
did.
We're going to have more on that with winning jockey Michael Sanchez. Let's get to some local racing here at Parks. We're going to take a look back at Monday's 8th race. This is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds looking to get their first win. A mile and 70 yards, $50,000. Nice purse. Ed Coletti with the favorite, Addison Dream, for our friends at Uptown Charlie Brown.
Yeah, and anytime you see our man Bob Hutt at a race as the favorite, you always got to like Addison's Dream. And that was actually the horse I did like when I looked at the paper here.
And Brittany Russell shipping in. She's always dangerous when she ships in with I'll Take the Blame.
Yes, she is always dangerous. Here, there, and just about anywhere else.
She's a good trainer. Here's the call of Monday's 8th race.
Karkaroff has the lead. Addison's Dream fighting on in second, a length behind. Then it's I'll Take the Blame. Amoradora looms in fourth, continuing to make his ascent. F35 in fifth as they make their way into the far turn. Karkaroff, Addison's Dream's taking another run at him. He's just a neck behind. Karkaroff, game on the inside, on the outside, Addison's Dream. Then it's I'll Take the Blame. Amoradoro continuing to improve his position. I'm going to check up. There's F35 running a little bit awkwardly at the top of the stretch. Karkaroff, Addison's Dream, a persistent presence, trying to come up the rail. There's I'll Take the Blame. That's a tight spot. On the outside, Amoradoro, and with a big late run, Clancy O'Toole gaining with every stride. Anyone's race at this point. I'll Take the Blame. Amoradoro has the lead. Here's Clancy O'Toole with a late rally, a 16th left to go. I'll Take the Blame found a seam, but it's Clancy O'Toole.
And Clancy O'Toole come rallying to get the win with Dexter Haddock, who is just one of the best closing riders. We're going to talk about him a little further. I had some luck with him.
Yeah, I'm a big Dexter fan.
Nice win there by a nice Uncollected.
Right, Danny Velasquez, Clancy O'Toole. I didn't see it coming off the paper, but as you said, Danny came from way back and rushed right by the whole field to stretch.
Yeah, nice win for our boy Danny Velasquez. Well, we're going to head into our first break, but we have a lot more coming up. It's 3-year-olds on the Kentucky Derby Trail. Lots of prep races from around the country on the other side.
And they're off in the 33rd running of the Holy Bull.
How are ya? From Brooklyn, New York, Andrew Dice Clay.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50.
Saturday, April 27th, 8 p.m. The Excite Center at Parks Casino. On sale now at parkscasino.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Dice Man, live.
The question a lot of people are asking themselves these days is, do I buy new or do I buy pre-owned? Here's what I'll tell you. New car inventories are still low and new car prices are still high. However, with the certified pre-owned Nissan at Chapman Nissan, we have a huge selection and you can save thousands over new. Plus a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, roadside assistance, 1-year prepaid maintenance, and so much more. And not for nothing. Can you really tell the difference? I can't.
Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Go Racing. Well, this is this exciting time of the year for 3-year-olds on the Kentucky Derby Trail. We have quite a few exciting prep races to discuss, but the nominations are out.
They are. They came out a couple days after all these races, Danny, and there were a total of 346 nominations for the Triple Crown this year. Todd Pletcher, shockingly enough, leads with 54, and credit to my man Dave Brenning of DRF. 33 of them are still maiden. 16 haven't even raced yet. He's got the 2-year-old champ. We're going to see him in a minute. Baffert has 18 nominated. You can run them in the Preakness and the Belmont, just can't run them in the Derby. Brad Cox has 18, and there are 47 from Japan this year.
Wow.
They're making an assault. Look out.
Yeah, we'll usually see Todd have 4, Brad have 4 in the starting gate, so it should be interesting this year.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to start with the Holy Bull down at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and 16th for $250,000. Our 2-year-old champ, Fierceness, is the favorite.
1-5 on paper. He looks like he can't lose. If he comes back to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile when he got 105, he's not only going to win, he's going to win by many. But he does have that bad race in the Champagne in between the Great Maiden Race and the Breeders' Cup. So which Fierceness will show up?
Yeah, and Christoph Clement, a trainer we often see on the turf, but has some nice dirt horses, has Otello for the second choice.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him. You don't see him normally in Triple Crown prep, so you must really like this horse.
We'll see if Paco, who rides up here, makes some noise. Here is the call with Pete Aiello and the Holy Bull.
And Hades has the lead. On the outside, Fierceness starts to shift gears, and there he goes. Fierceness for a neck advantage. Hades tries to counterpunch with the benefit of the inside. 4-wide C streak. Inveigled hanging tough from between horses. Another 2 lengths back to Domestic Product, and dropping back to last is Dancing Groom. Just ahead of him, Otello. Fierceness not out of second gear yet. They went 3/4, and Fierceness goes to the first finish line, trying to put Hades away. Gaffleone getting a response from Domestic Product, and it's time to go to work for the 2-year-old champ. Fierceness is off the turn, but he's not home yet, as Hades is dead game and battling back. Off-cover, Domestic Product is charging hard. 16th to go. Fierceness coming up empty now. Hades has the lead. Domestic Product is out of time.
It was an upset with Hades getting the win at 9-1. Paco Lopez with that loose rein took it to them early and kept going.
Yeah, Fierceness just wasn't any good. There were all kind of excuses, this and that. That just wasn't Fierceness that we saw in Santa Anita at all. Hades and our good buddy Joe Orsino.
Yeah, and some Silks were familiar with park horses. The Silks at Jaywalk with DJ Stable.
No doubt, Len Green, John Green, good people, friends of the show, friends of us.
Well, let's go out to California. This is the Grade 3 Robert B. Lewis Stakes. Just 1 mile, $200,000, and Bob with first and second choice. But let's talk about Nisos.
Yeah, Nisos, Danny, his debut. I happened to be playing a contest that day at Santa Anita. It was a week or so before the Breeders' Cup. It was just awesome. I texted back for after the race, said, "What was that?" And he texted me back and says, "We didn't even think that was happening." 896 buyer, 97 buyer, won by open lengths. Might be the best 3-year-old in the country, Danny, but he's got no place to go. At least no place to go in Kentucky after this.
That's pretty cool that you can just text these guys and they actually answer you back.
Yes, it is.
I love the name Wind Me Up, a cool play on his sire Vino Rosso. Well, this is going to get interesting in California. Here's the call of the Robert B. Lewis.
It's Scatify still there a length. Wind Me Up comes after him now, as does McVeigh with a 3-deep bid. Niso still 4th and 4 lengths off the pace, starting to gather some momentum now along the inside. Another 2 back to Ace of Clubs, followed by Moonlit Sonata and Better Than Gold. Scatify with 1/4 mile to go has led throughout. Niso's let loose with a huge bid on the outside, though, at the 3/16. Nisos blows by the competition and turns it on.
Nisos with a dominant win. Flavian Pratt kind of let the speed go, chase the pace, and it was over.
It was over. This is a son of Nyquist, of course, a Derby winner himself. Won by 7.5, Danny, 105 buyer. You can get down a Preakness future book bet on Nisos because he's going to be hard to beat.
Well, let's keep it going with our 3-year-olds. Let's go to Arkansas at Oaklawn Park. This is the Southwest Stakes. It's a Grade 3 and mile and 16th. Big purse, $800,000. They have a really good purse structure out there. And Carbone is our favorite for Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, now son of the sprint champion Mitoli, who was the leading first-year sire last year, Danny. Now the question with Carbone was, A, is he going to go long? And B, all these horses at Oaklawn have missed a ton of training. The track had been closed for like 10 days. Carbone was one of the horses kind of just stuck down there at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, and Steve also with the second choice. Love the name, Otto the Conqueror. Who's Otto and what did he conquer?
He conquered whatever he needed to conquer back in the day. And I do mean way back in the day.
Well, here it is. It's the call of the Southwest Stakes.
Otto the Conqueror paving the way here by a half length. Carbone applying the pressure to that stablemate with a half mile left to go. A length and a half to Just Steel in third. Windstock in the 4th spot, now sent along from that position. On the inside, Mystic Dan attempts to get closer, slips inside of Windstock. Linebacker is next, trying to pass runners on the outside. He's 4 lengths behind, making a move as Windstock plummets back in the wrong direction. He's done. Liberal Arts trying to move forward inside of the weakening Windstock. He's about 6 lengths off the pace as the leaders start to line up, coming back to the lead. Just Steel making a big move after Carbone and Otto the Conqueror. Just Steel storms to the front. Just Steel and Ramon Vasquez have 3/16 to go. Here comes Mystic Dan right up the rail, though, with a rail skimming ride.
Mystic Dan with an explosive win up the rail.
Yeah, I think that's the right word, Danny, was explosive. 101 buyer at 11-1. Now, Kenny McPeak did something really smart. He got the horse out of Oaklawn, sent him to Fairgrounds, so he was able to train, and boy, was he ready. And we were fortunate enough to catch up with Kenny McPeak on the phone, and here's our interview.
Here with Ken McPeak, who had some Saturday at Oaklawn Park. Kenny, Mystic Dan wasn't just good in the Southwest. He was great. Did you expect that kind of performance?
We really knew he was going to fire a big shot. Of course, you have to in those kind of races. He showed how much serious talent he had in his first start.
He ran 5.5. At that point, we knew we were on to something pretty good, but we had to retool this horse to teach him to go further. You know, he learned his lessons. He's got a lot of class. He's an easy horse to be around, and he settled like a good horse should and does, and you know, made mincemeat of that group.
I heard you saying you're thinking Arkansas Derby next. Are you going to keep him at Oaklawn, or have you made a decision you're going to go back to Fairgrounds? I know that was a huge part of the decision. You actually got to train him at Fairgrounds when Oaklawn was closed.
Yeah, he's going to go back to the Fairgrounds. I'm spending probably more time in New Orleans. I think we trust the weather a little bit better down there than we do up here. But yeah, he'll be in New Orleans, and then we don't have a plan beyond the Arkansas. Well, at this point, the Rebel is he'll be nominated, but more than likely he won't run there. You know, we feel like we've got a horse that could be primed for spring, and we don't want to overdo him too early.
You're a Kentucky guy. How much would it mean to win the Kentucky Derby for you?
Well, I think the Kentucky Derby is important for any horse trainer, regardless of where they're from. But you know, uniquely, I was born in Arkansas, raised in Kentucky, and my family roots are all Kentuckian, but I've not won either race. The Arkansas Derby's eluded me. I've been second twice, and Kentucky Derby I've been second, and I've had the favorite, and I've kind of been what I'd call around the dartboard on that one, but not in the bullseye.
Well, Kenny McPeak with a really nice Kentucky Derby contender. Will be exciting to see where he goes next.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, I've known Kenny for a long time. Bruce went to school with him, so good guy and a great interview.
Definitely. Well, we are going to go to another break, but we have a lot more coming up. Our jockey and trainer of the week. You're going to meet an aspiring trainer, Ben Dunn, and a great feature we have, and best of the rest, all coming up.
One night, one stage. Woo! Country music's hottest supergroup, The Frontmen, featuring Richie McDonald, formerly of Lone Star. Baby, I'm amazed by Larry Stewart, lead singer of Restless Heart. Tim Rushlow, formerly of Little Texas. Friday, March 29th, the Excite Center at Parks Casino. The voices that brought you 3 decades of #1 country hits live. On sale now at parkscasino.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to Let's Go Racing. Well, it's always exciting to talk to an aspiring trainer. Meet Ben Dunn. His parents have been in the business for a long time, Felissa and John Dunn, and we caught up with him about his future aspirations. Here with Ben Dunn, and your parents are both trainers and owners, Felissa and John. You were in the family business. Tell us how you got to join your parents working in the barn here.
Yeah, well, I dropped out of Penn State, and I didn't really have anything to do. I was kind of trying to find my means, and stumbled over here, started walking horses, and say about like 3 months later one day my mom said, do you like anyone? You could claim one for $5,000. And I picked Just Stay Home. You know, she just won 2 in a row, and then bounced back to a 4th. But after her, it just went uphill since then.
What goes into your homework?
Oh, I read racing forms all day, probably like 8 hours a day. I gamble a lot. I like betting, and that kind of helped me learn to read numbers. I look into buyer's speed figures, and that's basically like my cup of tea. And I learned a lot of trends, try to find the spot where they take their jump and just get them on the rise.
Well, you've been born into this. Your parents are both trainers, Felissa and John. Do you learn a lot from them, and who else have been mentors?
Yeah, it helps a ton. Just like around the house, I can watch races with my dad, ask him anything at any time.
Well, you have aspirations of your own to be a trainer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so probably in a couple of years, sometime in my 20s, I'll go off on my own and hopefully keep the winning streak going.
What would you say to a young person that wants to get into horse racing but doesn't know if they can do it?
I love it. I'm teaching some of my friends how to read racing forms, trying to get more young guys into horse racing. That's the biggest dream of mine, get more young people so that when I'm older, the racetrack's still alive, and keep this industry going.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Good job and good luck, Ben.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, it's so cool to see Ben so passionate and try to get his friends involved in horse racing. A good story to follow.
Indeed. You told me he likes buyer figures, too?
He loves buyer figures.
We love Ben. Get involved, Ben. Stay involved. Get your friends at it.
Well, we have another Turning for Home family photo to share for you. This is Love Channel, and she's owned by Natalia, who actually had her in her wedding. Spends all her days with her and her brother Samson. They're best friends. This is the best horse Natalia's ever had. What's really cool is Love Channel was trained by Antonio Sano.
Guinevere fame.
Yeah, and Simplification. Really cool. We saw him in the PA Derby.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get to our Jockey and Trainer of the Week. Congratulations. It's a co-Jockey of the Week, Michael Sanchez, who we've talked about him quite a bit, and Alicio Ruiz, who is an apprentice here, but he has been winning nonstop.
There you go. A dead heat for Jockey of the Week.
It really is, and two young men to watch. Congratulations to our Trainer of the Week, Dee Curry. We got to see her have that nice second place, but she also had a nice win on Tuesday's card.
She had a couple really nice maidens. One you knew all about. You know about that other one?
I liked the other one, but I wasn't as confident as Hunter Graham. Well, Chris Griffin was up there calling the race in the Grade 3 Withers. We caught up with him on his thoughts on the race and the man of the hour, Michael Sanchez.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. Down here in the paddock with jockey Michael Sanchez, who's had a tremendous 2023, and he continues to do great things in 2024. And one of those things was the Withers Stakes. Just had that win last weekend, and I had a good seat, actually, for the Withers Stakes, and this is the perfect time to ask you, can you hear me on the track? Can you hear the announcer pretty well?
Yes, and when you get in close to the wire specifically, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the race in Uncle Heavy for trainer Butch Reed and having the opportunity to ride a horse like that. And on the backstretch, how was he traveling? You know, on the backstretch, a little bit of moisture in the track, but how did you feel kind of as you were getting towards the half-mile pole?
You know what? I was really confident all the way around when I find myself only one lane behind the speed the whole way around. And I knew they were going to have to run fast to beat me.
The 3/8 pole, and I think I said it in the call, just kind of like was losing a little bit of ground. I see your smile right there, but losing a little bit of ground. He started to really figure things out, though, when you get to the top of the stretch. And then when you get to the 8th pole, when at that point do you start thinking, hey, maybe he's going to be able to collect himself and get there?
You know what? He always gave me a really good feeling that he was going to finish strong the whole way around. And, you know, tuning for home, he gave me that big feeling that he was going to, you know, take off. But the one, number 9, when I was going to go by him, he kind of drifted out a little bit. So he kind of took, you know, a little bit momentum of my horse because I have to, you know, reach in, grabbing to go a little bit more. And my horse being so big, you know, for him to come back again big, I think that was super special, you know.
Yeah, he was able to run down the speed, and I was just joking with you that I should have been watching you because you pumped your fist. Tight photo, you knew you had it.
Yeah, and you know what? Like you mentioned earlier, if I could hear you doing for home, when you say Uncle Heavy, I did hear you, and then it was such an exciting race. We all, you know, happy to win the race, and not only for me, for Butch Reed and the owner, everybody, and for Park, but for whole Pennsylvania because it's a PA race. So hopefully we keep going down the road and make it to the Derby. Hopefully.
Yeah, fantastic win and fantastic to watch you do it. One more quick question, not about the racing world, but you just had a nice accomplishment and just something for you as well. You just became a United States citizen. You did that the other day.
Yeah, you know what? I had a huge year in 2023, and you know, successful in my career as a jockey and all that. But I felt like that was my biggest success of the year when I became a citizen. You know, I got super excited, especially when I got the ceremony, the email. You know, that I got a sect and all that. It was definitely a really, really nice feeling.
Thanks, Chris. That was a great interview and really cool to see our Parks connections do so well on the national scene.
Yeah, no doubt. Michael gave a great ride, and he needed every bit of the stretch, but he got there just in time to beat our man Kendrick at the one.
He certainly did. Well, let's get to best of the rest. We're going to take a look at Tuesday's 6th race. This is our weekly PTHA Trophy race, and it is a fight in the stretch, but the number 2, Boss Cara, is going to get up in the final strides, the big chestnut by Street Boss. And I caught up with the winning trainer, my boyfriend Miguel Rodriguez. Boss Cara, our mare that we love so much. What do you like so much about this filly?
I like filly. She got a lot of class. She got a lot of heart. And I like the filly. She was training really good for this race, and she proved today.
We've had her a few times now. We went back and reclaimed her. She runs at every distance. And why do you think Dexter fits her so well?
She knows the filly. She got in the morning a couple times, and she knows ride the filly better than any jockey. He proved it today, and We got it.
Oh, good job, Miguel. He does a really, puts a lot of hard work into those horses. Well, let's get into the Swale Stakes down at Gulfstream Park for 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs, $125,000. And we have our eye on Frankie's Empire, the number 9, coming for a big win there.
Yeah, he's 14-1, Danny, and he's just going to make a swooping move, and I do mean swooping move. And there's a Parks connection here, yes?
Yeah, it's the same owner, Frank DeLuca. You've seen him run here in D&D Stables, and Susie Kroll, the trainer here, she's still involved, but Bo Yates took over the horse because he's down in Florida, and they are pointing to the Fountain of Youth. So we could have a couple of horses maybe on the Kentucky Derby Trail
Yeah,
from
this
Parks.
horse, of course, was stabled at Parks before he head down to Florida, and his most recent race was the day after Christmas right here at Parks.
Yeah, lots of excitement. It feels like it is still Christmas. Well, we're going to go into our final break, but you don't want to go anywhere. We have Craig Donnelly and Parks picks all coming up.
This is Parks.
This is how you roll. This is how it goes. This is how you pop. This is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you win. This is how you excite. This is how you all night. 360 hit me. Now we're going all in. I can feel it calling. The crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you. This is
Parks, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.
Turning for Home is a nonprofit that has provided for over 4,000 former racehorses with a safe retirement.
These brave warriors do so much for the fans, and we want to make sure they're taken care of.
It's a group effort by all the owners and the trainers, and we've helped so many horses.
Responding to the need of a better system that addressed the uncertain future for the retirement of the equine population at Parks Racing, the PTHA rallied horsemen to support the program.
It's awesome. I mean, these are the things that we deal with every day that put us into the game and make the game great. Without the horses, we have nothing.
Turning for Home became the first on-track retirement program at a year-round racetrack.
Aftercare, it takes all of us, and every single person is responsible for it. These horses give us everything on the track. It's up to us to give them everything off the track.
If you would like to help these amazing animals find a great second career and forever home, please contact us at turningforhome.org.
Welcome back to Let's Go Racing on NBC Sports Philadelphia. It is Parks Picks. We're going to take a look at Monday's 9th race. And because of our feature on the Dunn family, I'm going all in on In Spades.
Well, In Spades is interesting, Danny. Last 3 bars, 80, 81, 80. Whenever you see that kind of consistency, and that's a number that can win the race, that's a horse you could take seriously, and I would for In Spades, but I'm picking Olympic Romp. Second off the claim for Hugo Padilla, 8 for 22 here at Parks. Olympic Romp for me.
And Hugo Padilla was our trainer of the week last week, so he could have another big win. Well, Craig Donnelly, one of the top handicappers here at Parks, he has his own thoughts on some winners. Here's more with him.
Thank you, Danny. Our selection this week's going to be in the 5th race on Monday. A horse named Fine Whining, cleverly named horse by Blame. Fine Whining has not been close in her last few starts, which might scare you, but the point is, last time out she had a troubled trip. She was steady leaving the gate, rushed into contention in traffic, didn't really have clear running room to the stretch, came up empty. However, her previous 3 losses were on turf, wet track, and route. She was claimed by Jamie Ness, who was winning at an incredible rate with his claims. I think he's put her in the right spot. You're going 6 furlongs on a fast track. I think this is the tonic she's been looking for. All right, we'll go back to Dick and Danny. Thank you.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll get some wins for you. It is time for Eye on Racing, and we've been talking about 3-year-olds a lot this show. And some big races today down at Tampa Bay Downs, the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis.
Yeah, Sam F. Davis was going to be Locke's debut, but he got sick, so he's out. We'll see who shows up.
Yeah, now at Golden Gate Fields, the El Camino Real Derby.
Yeah, often you see horses come there to the Preakness. We'll see if anything gets to the Derby. It's kind of a minor league prep race.
Rumbauer, my biggest Preakness score.
Good point.
Yeah,
Your man
I like
Michael
that.
McCarthy, your main man.
We do have some sad news in the horse racing world. Toby Keith passed away, and we were so lucky to have him come out to Parks back in 2019, and I know all of our horsemen and fans really embraced him, and he had 850 wins as an owner. That's a lot.
Yeah, he really liked the game. He was involved on his own with partners, and I loved his song about the late, great Wayman Tisdale, who played for the Oklahoma Sooners, where Toby was from, and then for the Sacramento Kings in the NBA.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers with his family. Big loss for the horse racing world. He was a big supporter. Well, what a great show it was this week. week. We race Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Come out and see the action yourself. Post time is 12:05. Thanks for watching us, and we'll catch you next week on Let's Go Racing.
And they're off. Skippy Longstocking has early speed. We the people from in between horses. Taba has got the lead now. It's Taba in the center of the racetrack, but Taba is drawing away. And Taba with Mike Smith, they win the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby.